What's the real Nevada that tourists miss? Travel guide. Here is something most people never hear. Nevada is far more than neon lights, casinos, and the same 2 or 3 tourist attractions you see in every commercial. The real Nevada, the one locals quietly love and seasoned travelers stumble upon by accident, looks nothing like the polished image the world knows. Imagine canyons that glow gold at sunset, ghost towns frozen in time so perfectly that you feel like you walked into a paused movie, and valleys so silent that your own footsteps feel too loud. Today, we are stepping into that version of Nevada, the one tourists almost never see because it is rarely advertised, rarely talked about, and honestly too beautiful to stay hidden forever. So sit back, because the real Nevada is about to reveal itself one wild, unexpected place at a time. Lamuelle Canyon. Lamuelle Canyon is one of those places that completely shifts your idea of what Nevada looks like. You expect desert and heat, but instead, you get a sweeping alpine canyon with icy streams, towering granite walls, and greenery that feels like it belongs in an entirely different state. Some travelers assume it must be overcrowded or overly rugged, but the canyon has this calm, welcoming presence that makes exploring feel surprisingly gentle. The deeper you go, the more dramatic the scenery becomes. Glacial valleys, wildflowers tucked between rocks, and pockets of shade that make the air feel cool even in the warmest months. Cathedral Gorge, State Park. Cathedral Gorge looks like an artist carved intricate clay cathedrals into the earth and then forgot to tell anyone about it. The narrow slots twist and turn like a maze, and the towering mud spires rise above you with patterns formed by countless years of erosion. At first, some visitors think it will feel too cramped or too repetitive, but once you step inside the formations, the silence and texture create a strangely peaceful atmosphere. Every few steps, a new hallway reveals itself, and the walls change from warm beige to soft gold depending on the time of day. Ruby Mountains, Backcountry. The Ruby Mountains are one of Nevada's biggest secrets, dramatic, rugged, and so unexpectedly lush that people often call them the Alps of Nevada. What makes them fascinating is how sharply they contrast with the surrounding desert. You drive through flatlands and open valleys, then suddenly the mountains rise up like a dream that has no business being real. Some travelers assume the backcountry must be too demanding, but there are gentle routes and overlooks that offer breathtaking views without pushing you to your limits. Sit by one of the alpine lakes for a moment, listen to the absolute quiet, and let the scale of the mountains settle in. Goldfield Ghost Town. Goldfield is the kind of place that looks like someone pressed pause on an entire era and simply walked away. Weathered buildings, old wooden storefronts, and rusted pieces of history scattered around like accidental museum displays. People often imagine ghost towns will feel artificial or staged, but Goldfield still breathes with authenticity. The silence, the open streets, and the untouched architecture give it a presence that feels both eerie and strangely comforting. Walk slowly through the old streets, notice the textures on the walls, and let your imagination fill in the era that once thrived here. Great Basin, National Park's hidden meadows. Great Basin. National Park gets attention for its famous cave and tall peaks, but the hidden meadows are the places that whisper the real magic. They appear suddenly. Open fields tucked between forests, lined with wildflowers and backed by mountains that look sharper the closer you get. Many travelers think that quiet meadows must be plain or uneventful, but once you step into one, the calmness and the fresh scent of the grass create a strangely emotional kind of peace. The light falls softly here, and the breeze feels gentler than almost anywhere else in the region. Take a moment to just stand still, breathe deeply, and let the stillness sink into you. These meadows are the kind of places you remember long after you leave. Valley of Fire's Silent Corners. Most people rush to the famous arches and photo spots, but the silent corners of the Valley of Fire hold a completely different kind of beauty. You can wander off a short distance and suddenly be surrounded by towering red rock walls that glow like embers under the sun. The silence is so strong that even your footsteps echo lightly. Some visitors assume the quieter areas might lack the striking shapes the park is known for, but these lesser explored sections often feel even more dramatic because you experience them alone. Explore slowly, look up often, and watch how the rock layers curve into shapes that look almost sculpted. These corners are where the Valley of Fire becomes personal. Berlin, Ichthyosaur State Park, Berlin. Ichthyosaur State Park combines two things nobody expects from Nevada: a ghost town and one of the world's most fascinating prehistoric fossil sites. People assume fossil parks feel overly scientific or rigid, but this one blends history and nature in a surprisingly seamless way. You can walk through weathered old buildings with the mountains rising in the background, then step into an area where ancient marine creatures once roamed an ocean that covered this land. It is a strange, wonderful collision of timelines. Take a slow walk through the town, notice the details in the old wooden structures, and let the thought of ancient oceans shift the way you see the landscape. Red Rock Canyon's back, trails. Most tourists stick to the scenic drive at Red Rock Canyon, but the back trails offer a version of the landscape that feels more intimate and surprising. The colors of the rocks deepen the farther you get from the crowds, and the formations take on shapes that look like frozen waves, twisted sculptures, or carved layers of paint. Some travelers expect the back trails to be difficult, but many are gentle and rewarding. You can wander between quiet ridges, watch the shadows shift across the stones, and feel like the canyon is revealing its better-kept secrets to you. Find a quiet viewpoint and take a moment just to observe the interplay of light and texture. Jarbidge Wilderness. Jarbidge is one of the most remote towns in the continental United States, and the wilderness surrounding it feels like a world entirely separate from modern life. Mountains rise sharply, thick forests stretch for miles, and rivers move with the kind of clarity that only untouched places have. Some people hear remote and imagine travel challenges, but once you are there, the seclusion becomes one of its greatest gifts. The quiet is almost shockingly deep, and the landscapes feel handwritten by nature. Walk along the streams, explore a gentle trail, and let the remoteness work its way into your senses. Jarbidge has a way of making you feel like you discovered something you were not supposed to see. Angel Lake. Angel Lake sits tucked into the mountains like a secret that only reveals itself at the final bend in the road. The way the lake reflects the cliffs around it makes the whole scene look almost staged, like someone placed a perfect mirror in the middle of a rugged landscape. Visitors sometimes assume small mountain lakes lack drama, but Angel Lake proves otherwise, especially when the light hits the surface just right. Sit by the shore, watch the water ripple subtly, and notice how the peaks rise around you in quiet symmetry. It is the kind of peaceful beauty that feels effortless, natural, and deeply calming. If you enjoyed exploring the real Nevada with me today, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more hidden travel gems, and share this with someone who needs a new perspective on this incredible state. Let me know in the comments which spot surprised you the most, and I will see you in the next one.